In this video, we are going to talk about pricing and availability. This is the first video in our pricing and price strategy module. Well, so before we get to the listing, I'll give you a high-level overview of what type of pricing strategy do we use. So what we do is we generally inflate prices like 20 or 30, 25%, and then give them discounts. So we inflate the prices and then give the guests discounts. So this is done this way for two reasons. The first reason is that anytime a person gets a discount, they feel good about it. So they're thinking that they're getting a better value. So it attracts more clicks and it attracts more guests. Second thing is we only start giving them the guest discounts on a long-term stay. So it helps us avoid short-term stays. So it's very important to avoid short-term stays as much as possible because we don't want to break the calendar. If our calendar is wide open, we have a good chance of getting a long-term listing. We have a good chance of getting a long-term booking. We also have a good chance of charging higher price. If our calendar is broken up into only 2 or 1 day sections or 3 day sections, chances are for us to fill it, we have to give really large discounts. So you always want to get long-term, longer bookings. For this reason, we discourage short-term stays. So we utilize just a hardcore short-term stay minimum, as well as just a pricing strategy to avoid short-term stays. So basically, we only give discounts to people who stay, let's say, 3 or 4 days or longer. So this is how it's going to work. That's our main premise, is to inflate prices a little bit, give people discounts, but only give discounts in cases where they're looking for a long term. If they're booking for the short term, it should be more expensive for them because they are screwing up our calendar. So let's go back to the listing that we've been working on throughout this course and go to pricing and availability section. This is a section. This is a second section in the listing details. Pricing. First thing is you can pick the dates and see how your price looks like. But usually the best way to do this is to open, let's say, a different browser or open a browser in an incognito mode and just look at it from the point of view of the guest. So nightly price, we have set it at 50, but this is overwritten by our dynamic pricing software anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Currency is USD, so let's say weekly discount. So this is where we really start filling in our discounts. As I mentioned, our prices are inflated. They're coming a little bit inflated from a dynamic pricing software, in our case, Beyond Pricing. There's a video about Beyond Pricing separately. So those prices come in a little bit inflated. So we are going to be applying discounts to those prices. Weekly, we do usually 20%. You can experiment with different percentages. You can go higher or lower, but this is how we do it. So I'll show you just what we do. Monthly, we do 28. Even though it's just 49, we don't do 49. You can do larger. Arguably, it's better to do it a little bit larger, maybe like 30, 35%. But we've done 28 for a long time. It has worked for us, so we just stuck with it. It also depends what kind of apartment it is. If it's a specifically apartment tailored to monthly bookings, then you can definitely bump this percentage up a little bit and also bump up the price just with the same amount. So here we give 15% for 14 days. We give 15% discount for 4 days. So this way, we still allow 2 and 3 day bookings, but they are more expensive. We go 18% for 5 days, and we go 2 weeks, 23%. Oh, I think I might have to first save this, and then because it's bugged out slightly, then we will do this. And now it does let me allow to add this. So 20% for a week, 23% for 2 weeks, 28% for a month. You can also bump it to like 30%, or 35 or 40, whichever works for you. It will just depend on a experience that you have with your listing, and it will have to uh, it, try different things and see what works for your specific listing. It's hard to give a definite answer for what will work for you, but usually ranges from 28% to like 45. I like early bird discounts. You usually also should not miss any of this section. You should not leave it empty. So usually for 2 months I give 5%, and for 3 months I give 7%. Okay. Last minute discounts. 2 days before arrival is 15%. Keep in mind that this is on top of all the last minute discounts that I've already set up in a Beyond pricing. In a Beyond pricing, we will also have a nice schedule of last minute discounts, and this applies on top. So the reason why this is so low at 15% is because there's going to be another discount in Beyond pricing, and after we receive prices from Beyond pricing for last 2 days, it will already be discounted. So we are double discounting. So we don't want to put too much number here because by definition our Beyond pricing already sends us discounted price. If you're not using any dynamic pricing software, you want to increase this number significantly, maybe like 30-35%. But this way we're balancing already existing discounts coming from dynamic pricing software. So from 0 to 2 days, 15%. From 3 to 7 days, 7%. This is usually good enough to make sure that our calendar doesn't stay empty. Cleaning fee. You can also do short-term stay cleaning fee, but we don't use this. One thing that should be said about cleaning fees is that you should keep it reasonably small and don't inflate it too much. If you have a really high cleaning fee, uh, people might get discouraged and not book your apartment when they see that you have a really inflated cleaning fee. So usually if you have a cleaning cost of, let's say, $50, you want to add like maybe 20-25% on top, and set that up as a cleaning fee. Don't try to make too much money on the cleaning fee. That will be our advice to you. We'll talk about in following videos about a little bit about cleaning and cleaners and how we pay them, because that's also important, though not directly a part of listing per se, but we'll touch base on that. We pay our cleaners per cleaning, and we actually want our cleaners to make good money. That way we keep them happy, and we 5-star reviews keep coming and our revenues keep going up. If we are making money, we also want everybody underneath us and around us, or our partners and our cleaning crew or our maintenance guys, we also want them to make as much money as possible. That's our approach to the business. And yeah, I would not charge any other fee besides extra guest. So let's say after 2 guests, after two, we charge like $7 per night. I'll just make it 8. Minimum length of stay we've set up to 2 nights. Maximum stay, we don't want this at all. So we will get rid of maximum stays. Advance notice. We usually are pretty good at cleaning our apartments, so we can have as late as 11 p.m. advance notice. And apartment is usually ready at that time, for sure ready at the time, and they can auto self check in. So 11 p.m. works for us, but for you it might not work. 12 months in advance availability window, and no more restrictions. This is a calendar. If you're posting your listing on multiple websites, booking.com works great in many places. You would import and export calendars from here. So you would import booking.com calendar, you would export a calendar from here to the booking.com, and then you will connect them automatically. So the calendars sync automatically. You don't have to manually input any kind of reservations. So this is very useful. It's a must-use tool if you're listing on a different websites. And in most cases, you can even do everything without channel manager. You probably don't need the channel. We don't use the channel manager. We only use dynamic pricing software. That's only software outside of Airbnb that we currently use to run our listings or make our listings. And that's all. Again, the main strategy is to inflate our prices a little bit and then give people discounts. This way, we discourage short-term stays and we also encourage long-term stays. So this is what has worked for us. So try this out. After you try this out, please give me your feedback and comments on what kind of discount rates are you using and what has worked for you. For example, what monthly rate has worked for you well. That's all for this video. So we'll move on to the beyond pricing and then to multi-calendar and rule sets within the multi-calendar.